I turned it all the way down.
So sudden. It was jarring.
I was trying to move it like this.
Well,
back and
I mean, you
forth.
technically did.
Right, but it's like, it's kind of it's more of like you've got to set it to let it go. Welcome to the Wit and Grit Podcast, where we are still down in Elliott.
We don't know where he is.
No, it's a pretty simple problem. Life is busy for Elliott right now.
Oh, we do know where he is.
But we never figured out what he was doing with a safe.
That's right. Was he
Something
robbing a
with a safe.
bank?
Was he robbing a bank? Was he stopping someone from robbing a safe at his bank? I don't know. But he does seem to
If
be
only
okay.
he was here, we could ask him all these questions.
He was on fire with his predictions, and now he's basically bowed out of even making a prediction in this one. So
Yeah,
we're not going to have Elliott's magic touch. We're just going to go on our own.
we got this.
Yeah, I think we'll make it. Done it before. We'll do it again. We're going to talk about the two matchups today. We're going to review some coaching news. Let's get into the coaching news first. Okay, so, Sean, if you want to give a quick story about what happened to you yesterday morning. So,
Oh
some
yeah,
new-
okay. So there was some news on Friday night that broke, which is not typical. So I went to an event yesterday morning and was talking with one of my friends about football and was mentioning the Cowboys and was like, I think they should actually talk to Dion. I know Dion and Jerry's egos would be tough to fit in the same room, but I think it'd be interesting. It'd be good for ticket sales. And he was like, well, yeah, but they already hired somebody. And I was like, oh, wait, on Friday night? So yeah, I totally missed that one. So yeah, Ben Johnson, right?
no.
Who?
Brian Schottenheimer, dude.
Okay.
You were
See?
saying that earlier, and I thought you were joking. No, Ben
Oh, okay.
Johnson signed with the Bears a while ago. Remember?
Gotcha.
The Lions OC? No,
Yeah.
Brian Schottenheimer is the new head coach of the Cowboys.
It shouldn't be him.
I think so. I don't think I think everybody's overreacting a little bit. I mean, as a Dolphins fan, you remember Adam Gase, right?
Unfortunately. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe hiring these hot shot coordinators just because it's a big name and they just were on a recent team doing well
Mhm.
isn't the best move all the time.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
Brian Schottenheimer has a chance to be like a Vic Fangio type of find for a head coach. Which, okay, you're not even arguing that Vic Fangio was a great find, but one of these coordinators who waited way too long to get his shot. And
Yeah.
he's a career coordinator, but his dad was really a really good head coach, and no one's given him a shot. So this is the kind of move where Jerry gets a guy who's already been in the building. He knows he can call the shots still. We know that's
Yeah,
that's
the
important to
thing.
Jerry.
All right.
He didn't even interview some of these other top candidates, but because whatever system Jerry uses to find coaches, he didn't care for it. He let Mike McCarthy walk because he had a Super Bowl winning coach, and it didn't seem like he was going to get any closer to winning a Super Bowl with him. So
Nope.
I think that once you let Mike McCarthy walk, yeah, maybe they should have had more options if they had just decided to get rid of Mike McCarthy as soon as the season ended and not just dance around it and think about it. Like, as soon as they thought he could interview for the Bears, they were worried and they kind of just made sure he missed that job.
Yeah.
But the Bears went with Ben Johnson. They want the hotshot coordinator. They did the whole social media video. Everyone's clapping when he walks in, kind of thing.
No.
And it only has the opportunity to age poorly. I think you just hire your coach and let them come in and do it. Stop hyping it up. Ever since the Bears had this GM head coach or the GM president combo that they have previously, they've been trying to do some of the social media stuff. That's the reason everyone's disappointed in Caleb Williams' rookie year. It's because you guys made it seem like he was going to come in and he was going to be Jaden Daniels. And you just can't. Why are you setting those expectations after you have the history of the Chicago Bears?
Yeah.
You've seen it go wrong so many times. Why are you setting them up to fail? Have people. So that's where I bring that back to the Cowboys to say the Cowboys hire an offensive coordinator. Everyone's talking like they just went to the parking lot and threw a dart and found a guy. Yeah, he's never been a head coach before. Everyone's, he's never been a head coach before. A lot of head coaches haven't been head coaches before.
Yeah.
You didn't say that about Aaron Glenn when the Jets hired him. Ben Johnson hasn't been a head coach before. Liam Cohen hasn't been a head coach before. Any of the only coach this cycle that got a job so far that's been a coach before is so old. It's Pete Carroll.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's the only reason that I think the Schottenheimer move is if they know something about how he leads people and how he could be a better head coach than coordinator, then it's keeping him as the right move. But I see how, like, it's a lazy take to say this is another Jason Garrett, this is another just take somebody in the building kind of thing. But
yep. That's how I feel about it.
I heard at least one podcast saying that if they go Kellen Moore, it was recorded before Friday at 10.
Yeah.
If they went Kellen Moore, that would make sense, but not Brian Schottenheimer. Nobody wants this. It's like, let's just hire coaches based on what people want. Nobody at the Commanders wanted Dan Quinn. Look where they're at. Like, that's such a useless stat.
Yeah.
What do people want? We're fans. We don't know what we want in a head coach. We don't even work with them. You just see them at a press conference where they're putting on a facade the whole time.
We want wins.
So the Cowboys go safe, and make your argument against it if you'd like.
No, I mean, I just think it would have been more exciting to see, a big name. That's really all I've got there. I just don't like the boring hire. It's just another yes man for Jerry.
Yeah, but I just think that eventually Jerry's not going to give up that GM job. He's not going to be like, oh, okay, I'm done managing this team. He said famously when he got the team, I didn't buy an investment. I bought a profession.
Yeah.
So you got to find somebody that's going to work with you. If certain coaches didn't want to meet with them because of Jerry Jones, like you've got this guy that works in the building. If you have a chance to find the next Marty Schottenheimer in Brian Schottenheimer, I mean, take your shot. And then if that doesn't work, then you go big with the Dion hire. Dion's got a little bit longer in college, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess so, obviously, at this point. But it would have been interesting to see.
Dion's flash and all the money they're making in college right now, for him to leave that for the NFL where there's a salary cap, like he doesn't have a salary cap right now.
Yeah.
They just throw money at these kids. And then when you become an athlete and you're a professional, it's like, it feels like there's more structure to the professional league. Imagine that. Yep. Okay. So let's go to Pete Carroll then. What do you think about the Pete Carroll hire?
Well, I don't know. I think he did a great job in Seattle for a long time, but I don't think the Raiders are they're not built as well as those Seahawks teams were. So,
well,
I don't know.
He put those teams together though, right? I mean, so that's what the Raiders want. They want the Raiders want him to turn it around.
Yeah. I just don't think it's going to be an overnight success. That's for sure.
I hope not.
Yeah.
One very interesting fact about it is the AFC West has to be the oldest set of coaches in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
So here's your options. This is a question I wanted to ask you. Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, and Sean Payton. Who do you think the youngest coach in the AFC West is now?
Man, Andy Reid.
Try again.
I don't know. Sean Payton.
Ding, 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 ding. Sean Payton is the youngest coach by 10 days.
Wow. That's crazy.
here's another easy overnight stat for you. Last offseason, everyone's cheering Jim Harbaugh coming in as the Chargers coach, right? The Chargers now have the only head coach who hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Every single head coach in the AFC West has at least won one Super Bowl now.
Yep.
But Jim Harbaugh has won a national championship. So it's not like, it's just
he's used to winning. Yeah.
I think as much as it pains me to say this because I hate the Raiders, it's a great hire. It's a great hire for them. You just brought in a first-time head coach, a player's coach. Things went terrible. There was no structure, right? No. I had a fantastic time watching that interception that basically ended their season in person, Mile High. PS2, let's go. I digress, though. You bring in Pete Carroll to bring in some sort of structure to make sure that you kind of restore order. You set it up as a professional organization. You have Tom Brady officially involved, reportedly very heavily in what's going on. I mean, it's not like he saved his marriage, so he's got plenty of time on his hands.
Yep. Yep, and we were talking about how involved he was weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. If Ben Johnson had been swayed to the Raiders, it probably would have been Tom Brady's big move. He was probably looking for his, like, John Elway's big move in the front office was getting Peyton Manning. He landed that plane. That was like, that's when he was like, this is that's John Elway's entire GM career. If he was going into the Hall of Fame, is about that decision right there.
Tom Brady's big move sounds like a cartoon children's show version of him transitioning from the Patriots to the Buccaneers.
Tom Brady's big move.
Brady's big move.
Tom Brady's money is all tied up in divorce proceedings as him and Gronk try to load up the station wagon and go from New England down to Tampa Bay, Florida.
Road trip to Tampa. Little Tommy and Robbie.
Relying on their sponsorships to try not to spend a dime on the way down. How do we take these free Oakleys and turn them into food? That sounds like something that Jim Carrey and somebody else would be playing in. It'd be like two people who could do improv.
No.
Is that all well, let's talk about the Jets head coach real quick before we get into the games this weekend. Aaron Glenn, I think it's really funny how people want to try to paint the narratives around these head coaches. So Aaron Glenn is being widely reported as what a slam dunk hire, right? Like people are saying this is, oh, you did it. You got your guy. And we were talking about how the Jets had burned so many bridges and they'd lost a lot of credibility with some of these Woody Johnson stories coming out that you're lucky Aaron Glenn wants to go there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think it's as good of a hire as they could have done. I think they're in an interesting spot right now. I think getting rid of Saleh, in my opinion, still was a mistake, but so be it. They are where they are. So got to try something.
Well, we got to call it what it is. Outside of Ben Johnson, outside of Brian Schottenheimer, we got 2 player turned coaches that got a job this cycle, at least Aaron Glenn and Mike Vrabel in the same division.
Yep. Yeah. That's crazy. So
it's a certain, like Antonio Pierce lost his job. So you lose one, but you gain another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I think Aaron Glenn could be a good head coach. We're just going to have to see how it goes. They stole the assistant GM away from the Broncos, and you could definitely see that Aaron Glenn got the full endorsement of Sean Payton. Sean Payton actually tweeted about it. And
really?
When it showed up on my timeline, I was like, oh, right, I'm following Sean Payton. That's how he never tweets.
Surprised he knows how.
Yeah, I heard Diana Rossini of The Athletic even mention it too, because I was telling my girlfriend about it, and then I heard it on a podcast. I'm like, so I'm not the only one. I'm not overreacting. Sean Payton never tweets.
Yeah.
And he was like Aaron Glenn out there. And like, when's the last time he came forward for somebody like that? It was Dan Campbell, his former assistant head coach. Aaron Glenn played under Sean Payton and started coaching as a DB's coach under Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. So the thing that makes the Jets hire look good to me is if you can grab onto that tree and that tree starts to show fruit, you got onto it before everyone else did. Yeah. Because Dan Campbell was everyone. And let's go back to Brian Schottenheimer real quick. When Dan Campbell got hired, what did people act like? They thought it was the dumbest thing they'd ever seen. They were joking. This guy that bites kneecaps, this isn't real. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not a defensive coordinator. He doesn't take care of one side of the ball. That's all fans think about when they think about coaches. Mm-hmm. And Dan Campbell has worked out to be pretty good. I'd say best Lions coach in my entire lifetime, roughly. Yeah. And not even hard.
Yeah.
Not even a hard comparison. Yeah. So you just never know what's going to make a good coach. And that's what Aaron Glenn looks like he's set up to be the guy. If Brian Schottenheimer, if another Schottenheimer became a good coach, it would not shock me at all.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just something, again, it's just boring to me, that hire.
What do you think about the Saints job? As far as I've seen, it's not filled yet.
Yeah, I think they should stick with Rizzi personally, but I'm not sure if that's even on the table.
Yeah, see, the question for me is, like, you've already gone internal Sean Payton guy so many times. You already did Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
At what point do you bring in somebody new to do something new? Or is this GM just going to stay married to, like, who's in our building kind of thing?
Right.
Alvin Kamara did tweet and say, my head coach choice rhymes with Rizzi. Or rhymes, like he said, it's Rizzi. He said rhymes with Rizzi.
Yeah, dude seems to have the players behind him. Like, and he's clearly a passionate coach.
What do you remember about him that
Just
makes
his,
him
honestly,
stand
his
out?
passion, man. Like he would be running up and down the sidelines, like right next to the head coach, like, in players' faces when something would go wrong, or really hype when something would go right. And this was as a special teams coach, but like his energy was just, obvious.
Yeah. I think Mike McCarthy might still be in play for that job.
Okay.
It's pretty much the only job left.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Saints, like, I don't know what they're going to do that could excite people, honestly, on any hiring basis. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Liam Cohen saga. So this was reported on widely late last week, but if you missed it, let's give you a review. This guy, let me pull it up. So the Buccaneers had a coach that they were willing to pay a ton of money to, Liam Cohen, because the dirty secret within the organization was if Todd Bowles kind of lost another playoff game or so, like they lost faith in him, like they were kind of grooming an in-house replacement. So they were about to offer him a ridiculous offensive coordinator contract to stay there, right? Because Liam Cohen, who was in the running for the Jaguars job, bowed out and wouldn't meet with them because of GM Trent Baalke, which we talked about on the show.
Yep.
We posted it today before this live episode just for reference. Yeah. Like Trent Baalke has been around way too long with no success. He got one wide receiver well drafted, and he got the quarterback right in the year you couldn't mess it up. But he passed on Aiden Hutchinson for Trayvon Walker. I mean, that's how. He was in the national championship, and you just wanted to outthink the room. Just get this guy out of here.
Yep.
So they finally get rid of him so that they can get Cohen, and it's a tale of two stories. Cohen was saying that he was in full contact with Todd Bowles and said that he was going to go interview for this job. Wanted to let him know that. The Buccaneers say they couldn't get him on the phone. They were reaching out, and that he just didn't show up to sign his new contract that they had offered him. And then he all of a sudden accepts the job with the Jags as the head coach. And at 5:00 that day, when everyone's like, where is he? He reaches out to the Bucs and says that he's at the doctor's office with his sick kid, which I think in this weather could be true. People have been sick a lot lately. Those are the parts of Florida that did just recently get hit by this random cold snap they're not used to. I'm not a doctor.
60 degrees in Florida.
But like, I'm just left watching this wondering, who is this guy? Why is everyone in Florida trying to get him? Liam Cohen? Like, it's not even his first year being the OC for the Bucs. Dave Canales was the guy that we thought fixed Baker Mayfield. This guy kept it going. Now Baker Mayfield's going to have a new coordinator for I think it's a 6th time in 6 years.
Something like that. And this was, he had to go through this in Cleveland too. And there certainly wasn't stability in Carolina for his brief stint in here either. So.
That's good sports. Brandon Perna had a good joke. He said, how bad does everyone think Baker Mayfield is that every time he has a good season, someone makes his offensive coordinator a head coach?
Yeah.
He was the first overall pick, and every time it goes well, they're like, can't be him.
It's definitely not him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably Baker at this point, guys. So
dude throws 2 touchdowns a game, made me a lot of money.
So, given the ridiculousness of that story, what do you give the Jaguars head coach hire?
What do I give him?
Like, how do you rank that? Is it exciting? Not exciting? So you said Schottenheimer, not exciting. Aaron Glenn, best I could have done.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, the Jags situation is just so abysmal right now. I don't know who they could hire that could be like something to get up for and be like, oh, now I feel better. Like, not until I see it. So
I don't know anything about this guy, but there must be something about him why everybody wants to, keep him in Florida. So I'm glad they at least went with a young offensive person to pair with Trevor Lawrence, because that's your biggest investment.
They're just kicking rocks at this point. Like they're kicking the can down the street, man. It doesn't seem like there's any actual plan for anything in Jacksonville.
Well, that's why they're getting a new coach and a new GM.
Yeah,
a new plan. Yeah.
I guess
they've got a good wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr. They got Trevor Lawrence. They got good pieces.
What we think is good.
The Jaguars might be. Let's go ahead and put this on the radar for everybody. They might be one of our over bets once the Super Bowl's over and we actually. If the opinion on them is very low and the number is low enough, we take the over.
If the number's like 2.5, maybe, but like
I'm
not confident in them at all.
It's an AFC South team. It's so easy to turn it around in the AFC South. It's the weakest division in football right now.
Yeah, but just the Jags have like nothing going for them, dude.
I just outlined a bunch of things.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good.
You're silly. He's better than Justin Herbert.
Okay.
He literally beat Justin Herbert. I mean, I'm just saying, like, Trevor Lawrence is that good. Yeah,
he's mediocre.
He's the best quarterback from his class.
Is he?
Who else is in it?
Well, you're the one that brought that to the table.
I'm just saying Trevor Lawrence is definitely still a big attraction to this team. He's not that old. He's not 30. He's not washed out. He's and they've got Travis Etienne. They got Tank Bigsby. Like, they've got decent pieces. They just need somebody who can draft a defense a little bit better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should probably do the intro at some point. You want to do it now?
Oh, yeah. True. Might as well.
Welcome to Wit and Grit, where Ian, Sean, and Elliot break down sports betting, pop culture, or whatever's on their minds. The Wit and Grit Podcast.
Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. We're here to share our sports betting picks, insights, and strategies, but this is for entertainment purposes only. We're not financial advisors or professional handicappers, and there are no guarantees in betting. Wager responsibly, follow the laws in your area, and remember, bet at your own risk. If you need help, visit ncpgambling.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's get into it. Well, Sean, it's upsetting that Elliot is not here because it's a replay of the Wednesday show because you and me agreed on everything.
That's right. And I don't think we've really changed a whole lot since then, probably. My stances haven't.
Let's go look at the numbers because I had a rant ready to go to talk about this. So we talk all the time, don't we? You don't want to be on the side of everybody. Like,
what do you mean?
Groupthink. A majority of people are not usually correct. So when we're looking at this weekend's bets, you would think that the two teams that have been to the Super Bowl recently would be the heavy favorites of everybody, right? The Chiefs lost 2 games in the regular season, and one, everybody except for me thinks they weren't trying to play at all. Right? So we have a situation this weekend where we get to decide that we can fade everybody, fade the public, and we can back 2 home favorites in the championship round of the playoffs. As far as a betting side goes, I think this is the best situation we could have asked for. Right? You're muted.
Yeah, I had a connection drop there.
Oh, okay. Did you hear me? Do I need to repeat it?
Nope. Yep. I didn't hear you.
So what I was saying is that we're in a situation where we get to fade the public, fade people, and back 2 home favorites in the championship round of the playoffs.
Yes. Yep. Good spot to be in.
It's a good spot to be in because right now, 67% of the bets, 62% of the money is on the Commanders. It opened up at 4.5. It's at 6 now. Wow. So we're on the Eagles with 33% of the bets, 38% of the money. The Bills, it's an even bigger split. The Bills, who are going to be on the road in Kansas City, they're no longer going to be at home like they were the last 2 games. 73% of the bets, 76% of the money. But sharp action.
Never mind that Josh Allen's 0-4 against Mahomes in the playoffs.
Right, exactly. Josh Allen 0-4 in the playoffs against Mahomes. And by the way, I'm seeing sharp action on what two teams?
The Commanders and the Chiefs, or the Bills, rather.
Eagles and the Chiefs. Eagles and the Chiefs is where the sharps are on.
Okay, so that's
we're on the side of the,
not the public. Yes, got you. Yeah.
Yeah. We're on the side of the sharps, and we're on the side of the books.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
like
any joker out there that actually believed in the Commanders and bet them at 150-1, if they put any substantial money on that, that's not something the books ever thought they were going to have to pay out, and they're not ready to do it.
Everyone's looking for the feel-good story of Commanders, Bills, Super Bowl, and they're wanting it with their wallets, and that's not
how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't bet what you think. You don't bet what you want. You bet what you think will happen.
Yeah.
So that's why, we are going to be betting for boring. That is why we're rooting for boring. That's why it's called Championship Weekend Preview, rooting for boring, because Eagles, Chiefs, we want to see it one more time. Give Jalen Hurts 2 weeks to heal that knee up, and let's get going. To review some of our bets, if you missed Wednesday or you're just joining us, we are back in the Chiefs. We took it at, did we take it at -1? I took it at the money line and -1. I spread it out.
I believe I did money line because it was very close. I think money line was 125 and the spread at 1.5 was -115.
Yeah, I got the money line at like -125.
Yeah, that's what I got,
which isn't bad at all.
No.
Let's see.
I definitely take that. And then we did some Kelsey props. We just kind of built a Kelsey ladder for reception yards.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got I got it at 1.5, and right now we're seeing it at, I think it's at a consensus -2 now. So you might have missed that number. Yeah.
I haven't looked this afternoon, whatever time it is.
It looks like DraftKings and FanDuel might be the only ones holding on to 1.5, and they've juiced it to where they're about to move it. Everyone else has already moved to -2.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So obviously some late money is coming in on the Chiefs and driving that number up. People are trying to discourage it. They think it's going to be a very close game. I just, I see it as an emotional hedge in a way for me too. I don't want the Chiefs to win. So if I lose my bets on the Chiefs, but they don't go to the Super Bowl,
you'll be happy.
I win that emotional economy. Yeah. And if the Chiefs go and they win the game, then, at least I made something on it.
Yeah. Can't cash that emotional economy though.
But with my 2 tickets we talked about earlier this week, I've got to decide when I'm going to try to hedge, because if I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to upset it,
Right.
Like, let's just say the Commanders don't get past the Eagles. It feels safe to say that the Bills making it to the Super Bowl or making it and winning the Super Bowl would be the way to hedge it. So I'm thinking, instead of betting on the Bills to win the game tonight, I would bet on the Bills to win the Super Bowl if they can get past the Chiefs.
I don't know.
You get better odds. You get at least 2-1.
Oh, definitely better odds. But
what do you think? I mean,
I don't think it's gonna happen. So I hear what you're saying with the hedge. I get the point, but because I just don't see it happening, I don't want to do that.
Well, you don't have the tickets.
Right.
Like, I'm not hedging the Chiefs tonight. I'm hedging the fact that if the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl, I lose both my futures tickets that I have left, because I don't have any futures that involve the Bills or the Commanders.
Yeah.
So what I'm hedging is I need something that would replace it. And do we think the Eagles are going to beat the Bills? Maybe.
They could.
So I guess I got to consider that. I mean, the way I might not just, you know what? I may not hedge. I may just
let it ride. Yeah, I think
let it ride.
No, I think you're going to be right. I think we're right about Chiefs Eagles. So
that makes me feel more confident about it.
I mean, it's going to be after the games today for 2 weeks. Like, a lot of the people are going to be like, "Oh, it's such a boring matchup. Like, we don't want to watch Philly and KC again." Like, I can already hear all the talking heads. Like, that's how it's going to go down.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the Kelsey ladder we did earlier this week.
Yeah.
So what I did was I did a half unit on over 69.5. I did a half unit on over 79.5. Then I did a little bit less on over 89.5. And then from then on, I'm doing like 0.5, 0.10, things like that. I rode it all the way up to over 124.5.
Nice. Yeah, I think I built pretty much the same exact ladder.
Actually, no, I put my smallest bet on over 149.50. So if the Bills win this game,
blows up. Yeah.
he had 117 yards in the first half last week.
Oh yeah, it's playoff Kelsey. He's different.
The Bills can't stop the Ravens tight ends except for on a phantom. And I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson, if you had just thrown that ball higher, maybe you wouldn't have to blame everyone for dropping passes, dude. You got this old tight end. You made him grab at his shoelaces. Like, hit him in the numbers, man. Hit him in the numbers. I think Lamar's going to be fine, but
definitely.
I hope somebody doesn't make any like rash movements. Just keep the team together and just keep being good most years.
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. I wanted to talk to you about some tight end fun.
Okay.
Outside of Travis Kelce.
Interesting. What you got?
The first game, I think Zach Ertz, being a former Eagle, being in this big spot for the Commanders, an anytime touchdown candidate he might be.
That could be fun. I could see that. McLaurin just scares me away from that. Like on that offense, McLaurin seems like he gets a bunch of those touchdowns.
Nakobe Dean got hurt, and he covers, linebacker, covers the tight end. So
that's good. That's good. That's a good tip.
And what if we decided that both Ertz and his former teammate were going to go off in this game, because they love to do narratives in these big playoff games. So what about a Goddard Ertz 2-leg parlay and then bet each leg individually?
Bold.
I wonder what that pays out though.
I think it could be fun.
I'll look that up. What else do you got? You have anything else any bets you're thinking about doing?
I was flirting with the Noah Gray props over 1.5 receptions and over, I think, 12.5 yards, but I haven't done it yet. He gets a lot of looks, but he was getting a lot of looks before playoff Kelsey. So that's where I'm hesitant on that. I like some anytime touchdowns. I like Barkley, James Cook, Terry McLaurin, I think, is pretty safe. Travis Kelce, I like anytime touchdown.
See, I've already got enough on Travis Kelce and his yards. I'm not going to go after his touchdowns because I don't think they don't run the ball enough to go away from him.
Right.
I'm just not worried about it. And he may not get the touchdowns though. He may get most of the way down the yard, and then they might use a younger guy in the end zone.
Yeah, maybe, but I think he probably will. Again, playoff Kelsey, man. It's good for TV.
The super boost on Bet365 is Jaden Daniels 2+ passing touchdowns. They're boosting it to plus 175.
That's probably a good bet.
Wait, the super boost on there usually almost always hit because they're like, it's a $15 minimum. Like they don't let you put a lot on it because they know it's
maximum.
Maximum. Yeah. No,
okay.
Maximum. Maximum.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. You've got to bet at least this much.
We want to make sure if you win big.
To score 2 or more touchdowns, if you bet Saquon Barkley and Travis Kelce, they'll give you plus 2750.
Oh, for both of them to each score 2 or more?
Yeah.
Okay, not combine. I was like, holy cow! Like if it's just they have to combine for 2, like Lowry will go take out a loan for that.
He's like, check please.
Yeah. No, both of them. That's a little scary. I don't know if both of them are going to get 2 each.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Okay, so Goddard's at plus 333 here. Zach Ertz is at plus 300, so they're around the same probability.
And that's going to stack nicely.
Plus 1,400, 14 to 1.
Quad digi.
Yeah. Just to say that we think tight ends will eat. Let's look up how Zach Ertz did against this team. Because we got a large sample size.
Yeah. Goddard's their tight end 1, right?
For the Eagles. Yeah, Ertz is on the Commanders.
I mean. Right, I know. I know Ertz is tight end 1. I was just double checking for Goddard.
I forgot Elliott wasn't here, so I had to remind you which teams people were. Sorry, Elliott. We mean it with love.
Don't throw strays at my boy.
So when they played in December, he only caught 1 ball off of 2 targets for 12 yards.
Well, that's not great.
But the game before, he was 6 for 7 and a receiving touchdown. And that's when they were at Philly, and they're going to be at Philly this time. So
That was Ertz, you said?
yeah, that's Ertz. So Ertz did do this one of the 2 times. That's probably why he's that.
And it's the Eagles linebacker that you said got hurt?
Yeah, Nakobe Dean.
Okay.
Now I'm looking up Goddard.
Okay.
This is live, baby.
I still don't know if I like it. It seems a little risky.
Well, I'm not saying we put a lot on it, but it's at 14-1. You don't need to put a lot on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Dallas Goedert versus Washington has not gotten a touchdown since 2022.
Okay, that's not good.
That is not good. But my meanies do.
Maybe.
He gets yards. He was 5 for 5 in the last matchup for 61 yards in November.
Yeah, it's just like the thing is with the Eagles finding the end zone, it's usually either a big pass to Brown or Smith or a fucking tush push. Excuse me, the tush push. So,
well, I guess that's true. Yeah, you're right. So maybe Dallas Goedert is a bad way to put this, but maybe Zach Ertz. So we like the idea that Zach Ertz might get a touchdown, though.
Yeah, I would feel a little more comfortable with that than throwing Goddard in there as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know one of your favorite bets is always to do a same game parlay with Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Well,
right?
I did that once when it was with Baker as well. I do think that's probably a safe bet for today. The over 1.5 for Jaden Daniels.
It's plus 130.
Okay. See, I would probably want to couple it with something, parlay it with something. I just don't know what. But
I'm looking up Jaden Daniels' last 10 games right now to check out his touchdowns. 2, 2, 0, 3, 5, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, no, I like the 2. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to pair it with something though to kind of juice it up. He
had 5 touchdowns the last time he played the Eagles.
Yep.
And he only had 1 the first time he played the Eagles. So, I mean, that definitely averages out to more than... Do we think the Eagles are going to dominate the Commanders in such a way that he's only going to get 1 passing touchdown?
I don't know.
See, that's the question, because then if we could tie that with a Zach Ertz, we could do a 2-leg same-game parlay. Yeah, Zach Ertz touchdown, Jaden Daniels over 1.5 touchdowns.
That one maybe. Yeah, that sounds better.
One play could hit both of those, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's like we're voting. We're basically saying Jaden Daniels will get 2 touchdowns, and we hope one goes to Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to work on that a little bit
good.
more.
Yeah.
Do you think we should put that? Is there anything else in the game we would put in? Saquon's too overpriced. We kind of agree on that.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'd like it to happen, but yeah, it's like you said, it's probably not paying much.
AJ Brown has been cursed.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we make it 3. We've had a lot of success with 2.
I like 2 also. 2 is better.
Yeah.
All right. So over Jaden Daniel. The real question is, do we trust Zach Ertz touchdown or Zach Ertz yards more?
What is the yards?
I'm backing all the way up to him.
I'm sure the payout's not as good as the touchdown, obviously.
Well, he the last couple of times he's been there, it's 12, 47, and 48. So there's always a chance he does nothing. But
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that I feel like Jaden Daniels looks for him.
He looks for Terry. He definitely looks for Terry. Hey, dude, make it Terry. Make it Jaden over 1.5 and Terry anytime.
Look him up for me. Go to StatMuse. Just go to StatMuse and type in like Terry McLaurin last 10 games.
Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you meant look up the bet on one of the apps.
No, I meant like look it up and prove to me that he actually gets that many touchdowns, because I, believe it or not, wasn't planning to be talking about the Commanders this late in the season.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Zach Ertz, let's see. He got at least 1 touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games, but only 3 of the last 6.
So, all right, I'll go look up the
he was 1-1-1.
The McLaurin anytime with Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing is plus 248. And I will go look up those McLaurin stats for you.
My mom's calling. Typical.
I'm glad you just told everybody.
They should know.
They should know.
Does your mom call at inconvenient times, like when you're live talking about sports?
No, not that specifically, but
let's empathize about it. I wasn't talking to you. I'm talking to the people.
Oh,
I'm breaking the fourth wall over here.
My bad. All right. McLaurin recently. He's been getting in there. So I'll just give you the touchdowns for the past several games. 1, 0, 1, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0, 2. So he's
give me the numbers for the 2 Eagles games.
Okay. 1 and 0.
So just like Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Ertz, when he gets 2 touchdowns, it's like on 6 catches, 5 catches. His yards are all over the place. I don't know what the number is on this app. Let's look that up. But maybe we could put both of them in there at the right milestone. We'll see. Zach Ertz.
Oh, and those were his regular season stats. He also has a touchdown in both playoff games already. He's scored in each playoff game so far.
Zach Ertz, the number is 32.5. So we could bet him to get at least 20. No, but sometimes he only gets 12.
Yeah.
That was against the Eagles, took him out, but I think Nakobe Dean was healthy then. I'm telling you, I think there's a Zach Ertz opportunity here. But I like your Terry McLaurin idea. So let's take McLaurin to get a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I find that.
And then maybe the Ertz yards.
Let's see what it looks like with just Terry McLaurin to get an anytime touchdown and Jalen Hurts to get 1.5 touchdowns is plus 250 on this. No, okay. Jaden Daniels, 1.5 over 1.5 touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns.
Terry McLaurin to score a touchdown is only plus 250. So it's less than 3 to 1.
Yep.
If we wanted to add in Zach Ertz and get wild.
For his yards or for a touchdown?
Just for a touchdown, plus 900.
Whew. Just for a touchdown.
Well, his yards are over 32.5, and that's actually a pretty iffy number. But if we wanted to just take something cheap on him, you can bet him down to 20 yards. How about Austin Eckler? How much has he been used lately? That's the guy we should probably be he's the one that didn't play the last time against them, right?
And he was used pretty heavily last week.
I definitely misspelled his name. It knows. Rushing yards 47, receiving yards 41 last week. 27 rushing yards and 26 receiving yards the week before. Against the Eagles this earlier, 7 rushing yards, 89 receiving yards. Indeed. Now I'm typing him in for this season.
I think I pretty much like everything I've got, though. I don't know if I'm going to be putting anything else in.
Well, we worked so hard on this parlay. You can't give up on it now.
I'll still work on it.
Receiving yards for Austin Eckler is set at 26.5. I wonder what his rushing and receiving is, because clearly he's going to want it.
Yeah.
His rushing and receiving total is 40.5.
What is it?
47.5.
I like that.
He got 47 in both those categories last week with the Lions.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So if we add that, so now we've got a same game parlay. We've got Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns, Terry McLaurin to score a touchdown, Austin Eckler over 47.5 rushing and receiving yards.
Yep.
If you wanted to put $100 on that for some reason, it's a parlay, so we do not recommend that. But just to give you an idea, it would pay out $575.
Nice.
So,
nice.
It's
so it's plus 475.
Plus, thank you. Yes, bingo. Killing it.
Nope. I can math.
I think I'm gonna put something on it. I can't decide if I want to do a half unit or a whole unit.
No.
It feels really well thought out.
It does.
The only way we're wrong is if all of our Eagles bets win, because they got pulverized if they didn't get at least 2 touchdowns. Like the only part of this, I'm going to do touchdowns are fluky, so I'm going to do half a unit on this bet because Terry McLaurin to get a touchdown is the part I don't believe in. But I think I might be, when we get off air, I think I might be betting that Austin Eckler over 47.5 rushing and receiving on its own. That might be
Word.
a
Yeah,
parlay.
that's probably a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the Commanders-Eagles game as much as we can, and we've talked about Travis Kelce ladder, how we're all back in the Chiefs.
Yep.
Is there any other angles that we can't think of for the Bills-Chiefs game?
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
It should be a good game. Like we've grown accustomed to. We think Casey's going to win, as history's taught us. I think we've hit all the talking points.
Josh Allen threw 7 passes in the first half last week. Do you think that's
nuts.
going to be more or less this time?
More.
It's kind of crazy that they were basically able to beat these teams by barely throwing the ball and just saying we're going to be physical and we're going to move it on you. That's what worries me. They've got such a dead cap hit, but yeah, if the Bills come out and look good, I'm going to go find that Super Bowl number before it disappears and be like, yeah, they're going to. If I watch the Eagles barely beat the Commanders, and I watch the Bills start to manhandle the Chiefs, I'm going to hedge. No doubt about it.
Fair enough.
And where would you find that? Follow me on Picket at Ian Price or Action Network at Ian Price. Where can they find you, Sean?
I'm on X at Sean Dizer.
This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only. The opinions, analysis, and betting discussions shared on the show are those of the host and do not constitute financial or gambling advice. We're not professional handicappers or financial advisors, and all wagers placed are at your own risk. Sports betting laws vary by state. Listeners should ensure they comply with all local, state, and federal regulations before placing any bets. Our hosts are based in Virginia and North Carolina, and while we strive to provide accurate and relevant information, betting rules and restrictions may differ in your area. If you or someone you know is struggling with gambling addiction, please seek help. Resources are available at ncpgambling.org or by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Remember, bet responsibly, stay within your limits, and enjoy the game. I'm also on X at Hammered Ian to do all this kind of sports talk. My other page at Ian Price. At Ian Griffin Price is for news and news-related things like that, so you can find me there too. Are you staying home to watch the games, or are you going to go out among the public, Sean?
I don't know.
You cut out.